there when they have to go in.
Going to begin recording now, and I'm going to share my screen so that I can go to my presentation and begin. All right. Escape. Okay. So as I stated, I'm going to keep us all on mute until I'm done with the presentation, and then I will take you off of mute so that if you have any questions, you can ask them at that time. Okay. So this is our meeting for phase 4, our final phase, hybrid instruction, where our students come back to the building. And this is an exciting time because we've wanted this for a long time, and I'm sure that you have too. And so the day has come. So our agenda today is to clearly communicate the expectations to facilitate our students' return to in-person instruction and to inform you and our students on key components of our return to school plan. So first and foremost, the days that students will return. Now, all of our planning has been guided by the district's school reopening plan. Every school in the district is following a similar plan, okay? So on Monday and Tuesday, we will have students in grades pre-K through grade 3, students from Ms. Werner's class and Mrs. Walker's class in the building. On Thursday and Friday, we will have students in grades 4 through 7 and Mrs. Thorpe's class returning to the building. All pre-K and kindergarten students will attend 2 days. All self-contained special education and English language learner students will attend 2 days. And all other students will attend either 1 to 2 days per week. It is important to note that our school reopening plan dictates that we only have approximately 25% of our population in the building on any given day. Also, all classrooms can have no more than 10 students in the room for social distancing. So, all of you, our parents who are on the line who have students returning should have received a letter from me. And attached to that letter should have been a schedule. So this is a sample of what one of those attached schedules will look like, okay? So our kindergarten students, we're going to have 2 sessions. We're going to have an AM session and a PM session, all right? So depending upon your child's homeroom, and as I said, this is a kindergarten example, it clearly communicates the days that your child will come into school. It clearly communicates the time that they should arrive, okay, and the time that they will be dismissed. So this was attached so that you can make all of those arrangements to plan to have your child arrive to school on time and to plan to have your child picked up from school on time, all right? It also identifies the door that your child will be entering from and exiting, because we do want to ensure that we don't have maintaining social distance requirements, that we don't have too many students congregating on one exit or entrance coming into the building. So we have designated certain doors for certain grade levels and for arrival and for dismissal, okay? So it's very important that those are the doors that you use, all right? Because at those doors, our staff will be there and they will have a list of the students that are supposed to be in the building on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if any student comes to the door and they're not on the list, they won't be admitted, okay? So it's very important that we use the correct door. And I'm gonna show you pictures so you know exactly where door A, B, and C are, okay? Again, this is another example. So if we have a kindergarten parent on the line with a kindergarten student that's coming in the PM, you would have had this schedule attached, and it will show you the 12:15 to 3:20 time frame. We do have a few kindergarten students that will be coming in the AM because, as I communicated before, we can only have a certain number of students in the building. And so based on the number of kindergarten students that have requested to return in Miss Griffith's homeroom, a few of those students need to come in the AM and the balance will come in the PM. So that kindergarten class is the only kindergarten class that will have students coming in the AM. The majority of our kindergarten students are coming in the PM. And again, this is just another example, second grade. Some of the parents may have received this schedule. Now, recognize that kindergarten AM leaves the building at 11:15. They are the only grade level, pre-K and kindergarten. Pre-K and kindergarten are the only two grade levels that leave at 11:15. All other grade levels remain until 12:30. And again, just showing you another example. Now, fourth grade, remember I said fourth through seventh grade come on Thursdays and Fridays, okay? So those parents would have received a letter that looks like this. And so if you have more than one child in the building, say you have a second grader and you have a fifth grader, you received a letter saying that your second grader will come on Monday, Tuesday, or both days. And you received a letter saying that your fifth grader would come Thursday, Friday, or both days, okay? And again, another example for fifth grade. So in anticipation of our return, bedtime needs to be no later than 9 o'clock. And I hope that some of our students are going to bed even earlier than that, right? But in order to get the right amount of sleep and be ready to rise and shine the next day, we are recommending that students go to bed by 9 o'clock and that they wake up by 7 so that they can do everything that they need to do in order to be here on time, okay? Now, everyday parents, before you leave the house with your child or before you send your child out of the house to walk to school, you must access the Genesis Parent Portal and complete the COVID student screening form. Now, we recognize that pre-K parents do not have access to Genesis, so there is a Google form that you will need to complete. And we will push that Google form out onto our school website. It will be on our school website. This is a mandatory daily requirement when students are in school. You should also know that all staff, when they are scheduled to come into the building, we also must complete a COVID staff screening form. And I'm going to show you what that form looks like. So parents, I know that you were already on Genesis Parent Portal, so I am not worried because you are already attached to it, okay? So the only thing you're going to do now is see this new form that you need to complete. So you know that you access the Genesis Parent Portal by going onto the district website. Here is a picture of the district website. It says Parents and Students. You click there, and then underneath you click on Parent Portal. Once you do that, you're going to get to this screen and you're going to click where it says, I accept the terms and of the parent policy. Once you do that, it takes you to this screen. I know this screen looks familiar to you already because you've been going there to look at your child's progress report. You've been going there to look at the grades, and you've been going there to look at the report card. So you're going to put your username and your password. And then, and it even tells you right here, please complete the student screening form daily. Now, for our parents that desire Haitian Creole or Spanish, look down here below, bottom left-hand corner. It tells you to select the language. Simply click on that drop-down button and select the language that you need. And it will translate everything on that website to either Spanish or Creole, okay? So you've entered your username, you've entered your password. Next screen. This is what you should see. Then you see where my red arrow is and it says forms. You click on forms. And just in case you forgot to change the language, the button is there again, right? Bottom left. Now it says click here to access the COVID daily form. Where that red button is, you see there's like an icon that looks like an eye. You click on that. And when you do, it will bring you to this screen and it says COVID daily form. Click on the form. And here it is. Okay. And again, as long as you hit the translate feature, this form will be in whatever language you need it to be in. Now, you need to identify whether or not your child has experienced any of these symptoms the night before or in the morning. The night before or in the morning. And if they have, you need to check them off. If you have checked off 2 or more in this field, you need to keep your child home. Okay, you need to keep your child home. If your child has a fever, do not give them medication and send them in. If your child has a fever, keep them home. For your child's safety, for our safety, keep them home. Then you're going to go to section B. Is your child experiencing any of these symptoms? And if they are, keep them home. Again, last section. If your child has had close contact with a person who's been confirmed COVID positive, if someone in your household has been diagnosed with COVID, or if your child has traveled to an area of high community transmission, you need to check it off and you need to keep them home. This plan is going to work if we all do everything that we need to do, okay? This form is required. If you do not complete it, then it is, your child won't be able to go into the school. You have to complete this form. So if any of you do not have access to Parent Portal, you need to contact me via Class Dojo. And then I'm going to send you a 5-minute video that shows you how to access it. Okay? Now, after you do the last part, you're going to verify, you're going to say yes, that everything you just told us on this form is accurate and correct. And then you're going to click the green button that says update answers and it will submit. Okay? Seems like a lot, but you know, the first time or second time around, it may seem a little cumbersome, but once you get into the habit of doing it each week, it'll be very easy to do. Okay? And then it's going to show that it was submitted. What I will do every day, and Mr. Murphy, I'm going to ask if you can address some of the questions in the chat, because and if not, I'll do so afterwards. But I do want to let you know, parents, that I'm not in chat very often yet because I want to go through the slides, okay? But I will answer this question. This form must be completed daily, okay? The responses to the form, I'm going to explain that as well. I will pull a report every day that tells me who has not completed the form. Then our school nurse will be calling you to let you know that the form has not been completed. The only person that has access to the information on this form is myself and our school nurse. Okay. You can begin to complete this form as early as the child wakes up. okay? But it must be completed before you leave home with your child, okay? Must be completed before you leave home with your child. All right. So this is just a reminder about the parent portal, but again, if you do not have access, send me a private message in Dojo, and we will work to ensure that you gain that access. So, parents, after you complete the COVID screening form in Genesis, if your child is experiencing any of the symptoms or was exposed to someone who tested positive, you must keep them home. After you complete the form, if your child is not experiencing any symptoms and was not exposed to someone who tested positive for COVID, you can bring them to school. All right, so now you've done your form. They are up and ready to go, and they're getting ready for school. School uniform and face mask are required. Not bandanas, not other versions of face coverings. Face mask are required. Okay. In terms of, I see a question here. Okay, Mr. Murphy, thank you for responding to some of the questions. Thank you. So uniforms and face masks are required. Chromebooks and headphones are required too. That is why I reached out on a number of occasions to ask if a school Chromebook was needed, because in order for the kids to come back into the building, they have to connect to our Wi-Fi. Personal devices will not connect to our Wi-Fi, all right? They have to have a school-issued Chromebook. Why do they need Chromebooks when they're in school? Because a lot of their assignments are still going to be assigned in Google Classroom. Not all of their teachers will be live and in person every day, because some of our staff will be in the building on the days that your child is there, but some of our staff will be at home. For example, some of our specialists may not be in on the same day that your child is physically in the building. So that specialist will be teaching from home, and there will be another teacher in the room with your child, and your child will engage not only with the teacher that's teaching from home, but your child is going to engage with the children that are at home too. So let me make sure that that is very clear. The students that are in the building are going to engage with their teacher in person, and they're going to continue to engage with the students that are at home. We're going to affectionately call our students at home our Zoomies, and our students that are in the building are Roomies. The ones in the room and the ones on Zoom. They are going to continue to have class together. They're just simply going to be in two different locations. Some in school and some at home. Okay? And we have designed the classroom in a way that the teachers will be able to do that. I'm going to ask you in advance for some grace the first week, because this is going to be a new setting and environment, not only for our students, but for our staff. We are doing everything to make sure that we are ready, okay? And we are ready, but there may be, there may be some growing pains the first day or two, all right? So we are all going to exercise grace, and we're all going to work together to make sure that our students that are at home are having the full experience that they're having right now, and that our students that are in the classroom are going to have the full experience that we're trying to provide to them as well. So school supplies must come to school with your child every day. You have, and I have pictures here, scissors. Your child has scissors at home because I know that they're using them at home. They must come. The Chromebook must be fully charged, and it needs to come. Pencils and pens, we cannot share anymore. Crayons, we cannot share anymore. But all of these school supplies you already have at home. So please make sure that you pack your child's bag with all of the things that they need that they've been using online, that they come with them every day. We cannot share. Okay, so don't leave home without them, right? We don't leave home without our keys, without our wallet. So now this is the case with your children. So uniforms and face masks. And I know some of the teachers, I asked the teachers to tell the students to start wearing their face mask at home so that they can understand what it feels like to wear it for 4 hours in the building. As staff, we have been required to wear them in school. So we wear it 8 hours. From the time we walk into the building to the time we leave, we're in our mask. And so our students will be in their mask for the 4 hours that they're with us. So student arrival, door A, door B, door C. What am I talking about? Well, I'm going to show you. Okay. All right. So you're familiar with the main entrance of the school. To the left of the main entrance is door A. That's where grades 3, grade 6, grade 7, and Ms. Walker's homeroom will enter the building through that door. To the right of the main entrance is door B, where you see the X's on the ground. All right. Grade 4 will enter through that door. Now you see that door A, there's some dots on the ground. When your child arrives to school, they need to stand on one of those. They are spots that will be provided 6 feet apart. Because when kids enter through that door, we have something waiting for them. All right. Now the X's over here are the spots for them to stand on when they are waiting to enter the building. All right. So there's door A. So you see me here? When I came in through the door, I was met by this temperature scanner. Your child will stand in front of it as you see that I'm doing here, and it will take their temperature. And it will say normal temperature. And you see it's green because I had a normal temperature that day. And their temperature will be recorded by the security guard that's there. Door B, where the X's are, where grade 4 is coming in, there will be a staff member there. We have a different type of scanner, and that's a scanner, a handheld temperature taker that Ms. Brody is using. And so that will be used at that door. Preschool. This is in the rear parking lot. This is where our preschoolers will enter. All right. No earlier than 8:15. And we will use a handheld temperature checker for our preschoolers. Door C is up by the annex. And you see we have the spots on the ground. So the students will stand at their spot when they come in through the door. That temperature scanner is waiting for them. And they're going to stand in front of it. And you'll see it tells me that my temperature that day was 97.5. So I was clear to enter. If the child has a temperature that's out of range, that's feverish, it will scan red. And if it scans red, the child must go home. Okay? So COVID-19 screening at school. You saw that temperature checks will be taken at every door. If the scan reads not normal or on the handheld 100.4 and higher, Nurse Quay will call the parent and the child must be picked up immediately. Okay, immediately. So immediately means in less than 30 minutes. Okay, in less than 30 minutes. So if you are at work, I know that you have emergency contacts that you may that you have so that you can call someone and ask them to pick up your child on your behalf. But we really need you to make those arrangements. If a child becomes ill while at school, Ms. Quay will assess them. And if she determines that the child needs to go home, parent will be contacted to pick up their child immediately. So if your child is experiencing any of those COVID-19 like symptoms, Ms. Quay will call you and state that the child must go home. Now you might say, well, you know, their eyes are red or they have runny noses because it's allergies. We don't know if it's allergies. If they are experiencing any of those symptoms that are on the COVID-19 list, they must go home. Okay. So parent contact and emergency contact information must be current and it must be accurate. And I know that we have all of our parent contacts are accurate. And if they're not, I know that you will make sure that we have the right information that we need before we return our students on Monday. All right, so this information is posted on our district website. And so I wanted to make sure that this was provided to you. And I'm going to read it, okay? So COVID-19 symptoms range from mild to severe illness. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. According to the CDC, students with the following symptoms may have COVID and must stay home or will be sent home for quarantine. So if your child is in school and they came in normal temperature, but they, you know, are there now and about an hour later or two, they start experiencing any of these symptoms, they will be sent to the nurse and the nurse will call you and let you know that they need to go home. Okay. And if your child is sent home for any of these reasons, in order for them to return, one of two things must take place. So option one, your child has to be evaluated by a medical professional and has to have documentation of a negative COVID test. And that doctor must clear your child to return to school. So we must have a note from a doctor that says that your child had a negative COVID test and may return to school. Or option two, you decide not to have your child evaluated by a medical doctor, and you decide not to have your child tested for COVID. Your child can only return if 10 days have passed since the start of symptoms and your child has been fever-free without medication for 24 hours and your child no longer has symptoms. So if your child is sent home because they're experiencing any of those symptoms that are here that are bulleted, you have two options: to have them tested for COVID, and if it's negative, bring in that documentation that they're negative. If you decide not to take them for a COVID test, they must stay home for 10 days. Okay? And if you have any questions regarding this after this meeting, feel free to call me or feel free to call Ms. Quay, our school nurse. And again, this is all done to keep us all safe. So when the students come into the building and parents, you know, Heywood, before the pandemic, we would love to have you in the building because we were an open school. Unfortunately, now the only people that we can allow in the building are our students. So parents, you will not be able to come into the building unless you are picking up your child. If there's a need for you to pick up your child from the nurse's office and it requires you to come into the office, then that's the only time that you'll be able to come into the building. But, you know, there may be times where you don't necessarily have to come into the nurse's office and the nurse can meet you at the door. But at this particular time, only students and staff are allowed into the building. Throughout the building, students will see these signs to remind them that they need to keep 6 feet apart from each other. And they will see the sign on the right to remind them that they must wear their mask. Okay. They will also see this. We have put directional arrows on the ground to help students to understand that they need to always remain on the right. And we've done that before, but now it is visible to them. that we want to keep the flow of traffic in our hallways and our stairwells to the right at all times. And the black lines that you see and the white lines that you see is just like if we're driving a car. We don't go over those lines to maintain the flow of traffic. Parents, please save your questions. You might want to write them down or, but save them because I know you're going to have questions and they will be answered. On the stairwells, we have also provided that directional tapes so they understand you must stay to the right and you must keep your distance. Okay? And we've done that at school before, but we've never had the directionals visual for them, but it's visual now. Here are examples of how the classrooms are set up, okay? There's someone writing on my screen. I'm not sure why. Okay, I'm not sure how to do that. Okay. These are examples of our classrooms. You'll see that the desk or tables are 6 feet apart. There are desk shields on every table, and students will have to keep their belongings next to them. There will be no locker use, and so students will keep all of their materials next to them in their seated area. In the bathrooms, you'll see that there are reminders there for students to wash their hands for at least 20 seconds. You'll also see that the sinks, we have put plastic over the middle sink so that students understand that they only use the ones, to keep distance from each other, that they only use the ones that are available. Same thing with the urinals in the boys' bathrooms. We have covered one so that there's only one available if our young men decide to use the urinals. We will have security in the annex as well as the first floor to help reduce the traffic flow as well as the number of students that are in the bathroom. But we have each day we don't have many students in the building. So there should never be a time where there's more than 2 students in the bathroom. And with 2 students in the bathroom practicing social distancing, just as they're doing now, when you take them to the store or when you take them elsewhere, they understand how to keep their distance there. And so they've had that practice to do the same when they're in school. So, have you provided Nurse Quay with your asthma action plan? Does she have an inhaler at school for your child? Right? She should always have one there, and she can only administer it with an action plan from your child's doctor. Okay, and asthma is very important. I'm asthmatic, and I never leave home without my inhaler. So it's very important that if you have a child that's asthmatic, that she has what she needs in case they need it. If your child has any allergies, your Ms. Quay should know that. And if there's any medications that they're going to need between the 8:30 and 12:30 time frame, Ms. Quay should know that as well, right? Because we want to make sure that your child is comfortable, safe, and well taken care of. And Nurse Quay is here to do that. You will see that Nurse Quay has a barrier on her desk. Some of the offices have been outfitted with plexiglass barriers so that when she is working with the student, that they are maintaining their distance. It's also important to note that all classrooms have hand sanitizer, have disinfecting wipes, and anything else that is needed to maintain a sanitary environment. So breakfast time will be in the class from 8:15 to 8:30 only. Gone are the days where a student comes in late and says, I need breakfast. If your child would like to have breakfast at school, it's from 8:15 to 8:30 only. And it's in the classroom because we're not using the cafeteria. We're not using the cafeteria. And so if you're not able to get your child to school on time in order to enjoy breakfast in the class, we're asking that you make sure that they have breakfast at home first, okay? But at 8:30, instruction begins. So here's an example of a preschool schedule, okay? And Ms. Springer and Mrs. Jethwa, I know, will work with their parents to explain the schedule. So our students who are returning to the building, preschool, our preschool students that are returning to the building, their instructional time will be in the morning. Our students that are remaining at home, their instructional time will be in the afternoon. That's going to be a change. Our preschool students who are remaining at home, their instructional time will begin at 12:45. Okay. Now I see that on the morning message. So let me backtrack for a minute. For morning message, the virtual students as well as the students in the building will engage in the morning message. For large group, virtual, so I need to re-clarify this. For large group preschool, virtual, and those in the building will be together. For small group, virtual, and those in the building will be together, okay? Now, when it's time for gross motor time, the students that are at home will disconnect because the students that are in the building will go outside if possible for gross motor time. Now, in the afternoon, there will be virtual class for some of those students that are virtually at home. Okay. Now on Thursday and Friday, the preschool schedule remains as you have it right now. Okay. Preschool schedule will remain. And so as I communicated for all preschool parents, Ms. Springer and Ms. Jethwa will speak to you specifically about what changes are going to occur in their schedule. But on Thursday and Friday, you will remain as you are doing right now. Now for kindergarten, on Monday and Tuesday, there will be slight changes to the AM schedule and PM schedule. Your kindergarten teachers will share that with you. And it's my understanding that Ms. Hill has already provided a brief video on those changes. I do need to make all parents aware that students will remain in one class and the teachers will travel to them. The only caveat to that plan is that in some instances, some of our classes will go to the gym for gym. And in some instances, some of our classes will go to the auditorium for vocal music and for dance. But for all other classes, the teacher will travel to them. So students will remain in one location. So that way it facilitates an easier process for cleaning. Now for kindergarten, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, your schedule remains the same as it is right now. The only changes that are going to happen are for Monday and Tuesday. Second grade, I've given you an example of the schedule. It's the schedule that our second grade Ms. Freeman's class is following right now. I've also provided you a copy of an example of fifth grade, Mr. Milano's homeroom. The schedule that grades 1 through 7 are following right now is going to be the same schedule that they're following on Monday. So as I said, our students that are in the building, there are roomies, and our students that are at home, there are Zoomies. and they are going to follow the same schedule. They will see each other. They will receive instruction at the same time. They're just going to be in 2 different locations, some at home and some at school. That's the only change that's happening beginning on Monday. Okay? Now, before our kids leave, they're going to get lunch, okay, to take home with them, right? So those students who are at home learning, the grab and go still takes place. You can still come to Heywood and grab your breakfast and lunch anytime between 7:30 and 1:30 every day. Those students that are in the building will receive their breakfast in their classrooms to eat from 8:15 to 8:30. And then before they go home, so our preschool and kindergarten will receive their lunch by 11 o'clock, put it in their bag, take it home. Our students in grades 1 through 7 will receive their lunch by 12 o'clock, their grab and go lunch by 12 o'clock, put it in their bag, take it home. Okay? So the only meal that's going to be eaten at school is breakfast, and that will be in the classroom. Dismissal. So we will have buses that will come to the school to bring students to school and take them home, just like we have in the past. All right. So I want to remind you that dismissal for pre-K is at 11:15, Monday and Tuesday. For kindergarten, our AM session will be dismissed at 11:15. Our PM session at 3:20, Monday and Tuesday. First, second, and third, Ms. Werner and Ms. Walker's class, Monday and Tuesday, are dismissed at 12:30. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh grade and Ms. Thorpe's class, Thursday and Friday, dismissed at 12:30. Students must be picked up on time. Students will not be able to sit in the auditorium. And the only picture that I forgot to take was our auditorium. Our auditorium, we have 6 feet distance between chairs and between rows, and an auditorium that could comfortably sit about 250 students. Once we put in all of the social distancing requirements, may be able to hold 40. So we don't have an area where we can house a lot of students that are not being picked up on time. So it's very important. And we understand that parents may run 5 or 10 minutes late. We understand that. But I also want you to understand that at dismissal time, staff are taking their lunch, and then they're going into office hours. They're going into office hours because office hours is still part of the schedule for our students. So at dismissal time, we have door A, door B, and door C, right? So that we can safely, in social distancing. So the doors for dismissal are a little bit different. You have pre-K coming out of door A, grade 3, 6, and 7 at dismissal time. Door B, you have grade 4, Miss Walker and Miss Werner. And this is all communicated on the letter as well that you received. Door C, you have grade 1, 2, 5, and Miss Thorpe's class coming out of that door. And then you have kindergarten coming out of their doors, because the kindergarten classrooms do have exits to the playground. And when they come to the playground, they end up in the parking lot, the kindergarten parking lot, okay? So when our students come to school, kindergarten specifically, they're coming through door C so that we can take temperatures. But when kindergarten leaves, they're leaving through the classroom doors that exit out to the playground and exit out to the kindergarten parking lot. So parents, you just wait at the end of the parking lot, just wait at the end, down by the curb, and your children will be brought to you there. So after dismissal, students will go home, eat their lunch, take a break before attending office hours because school ends at 3:20. They're going to join office hours to meet with their teachers as scheduled. They're going to continue to work on their homework assignments. They're going to attend their after-school tutoring sessions from 3:30 to 4:30. They're going to attend their after-school club activities if they're registered for those from 3:30 to 4:30. I just want to remind you that the fourth marking cycle begins next week, Tuesday. District benchmarks in ELA and math will take place in the next 2 weeks, as well as near the end of the fourth marking period. So your teachers will tell you when. And I just want to remind you that your children must take them independently. No help from you, independently, so that we can see where they are in their learning. Let's continue to work together, parents, home, and school, to help our students maintain their momentum from now until the end of the school year. Because if we lose our steam, our children are going to lose their steam too. And I know it's hard, right? But the end is near, but we got to make sure that when we get to that finish line that we're getting there strong, okay? Stay connected on Class Dojo, phone, text, and email blast. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, questions. And before I take you there, I just want to remind you, save the date, because you know Heywood, we're an active building. All right. So I've placed these 2 flyers on Class Dojo. We normally have a color run event. We're having a modified version. All right. So that's going to be on Wednesday, April 28th. And then we also have this is the National Poetry Month. April is National Poetry Month. So I want us to engage in a night of poetry. And I know some of our parents are spoken word artists. You just didn't tell us yet. And so I hope that you will participate in this event. And so I just wanted to make sure that I made you aware. So I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see all of your lovely faces now. And you can bombard me with all the questions you have. So let's see if I see that one parent has already learned how to use the raise hand feature. So I'm going to say to you that I need you to raise your hand. In order to get to the raise hand feature, there's a toolbar at the bottom. It says reactions. If you click on that button where it says reactions, it'll have a raise hand feature. Raise your hand there, and then I'll call you so that you can ask your question, okay? All right. So I see, and I have 5 screens in front of me. I have 5 pages of people. So I'm just going to start with the first page. Ms. Jethwa, you're the first one on my screen. So can you unmute yourself and ask your question? All right. It may not, let me see if I have to unmute. Allow participants to unmute themselves. All right. Try unmuting now, Ms.
Yes,
Jethwa.
thank you. So I have clarifications for preschool parents. One exception rule was that they don't need uniform. No preschooler needs uniform. If you have already got uniforms for your preschooler, you can put them on, but it's not necessary. Second, on your part, you said that all students need to bring their own stationery like paper, pencils, crayons. Preschoolers do not have to bring. We have individual bags ready for them for both classrooms, but those bags will not go home. Every day, that student will use that material, put everything back into their bag, and for Monday and Tuesday, be able to use. So there is no sharing of materials, and those bags don't go home. They have Play-Doh, they have scissors, they have everything in that bag. The third thing that I wanted to clarify was that the students that come on Monday and Tuesday do not have office hours in the afternoon, because we will be actually working with the Zoomies in the afternoon. So the students will be done from 8:15 to 11:15 that come will not have office hours in the afternoon. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jethwa. That's why it's a team, because Alcantara can't remember everything. So I'm glad that, and that's why I said Ms. Jethwa and Ms. Springer will clarify anything that needed to be clarified. So thank you. I'm going to go right next to Ms. Jethwa on my screen to Sherna's mom.
Hi, my two question is like you say about the the form from the coronavirus paper.
Yes.
I just want to know, like, some parents are gonna be able to be home with the kids, like special like me. I'm not gonna be here with her. So to fill the paper every morning. So what I have to do about it?
The person that will be home with her will need to be shown how to do it.
Oh, you can help her to do it.
No, I can't help her to do it. You would have to help her to do that. Or wherever, if you're at work, Mom, you can complete the form at work. You can just pull it up.
Like on my phone.
Yes, you can do it from your phone.
Okay. And my secondly, and you talk about like they have to bring their own staff. So the only things I like to do, if they can send me exactly everything she be need for that Monday, because I know she have a schedule, I can put everything in the packet because I know everything being, so heavy. I like to know exactly everything should be used that day, and I can just set up them in the package for her to send to the school.
So that's an excellent question, Mom. So, because I don't want any students coming in with 20-pound backpacks, right? So what we want them to bring is their Chromebook, fully charged. Any materials that the teacher sent home with them. So if her ELA teacher sent home the workbooks and the book that they're reading, that needs to come with them. So anything that the teacher sent home for ELA, math, science, or social studies, that should be in their book bag and coming in with them. Pens, pencils, notebook, not notebooks, notebook, because one will suffice, right?
Yes.
But that Chromebook is extremely important because, as I stated, some of their teachers will be physically in the building, but others may be home. They may not be scheduled to be in the building that day, right? And so the only way they can connect with them is through the Chromebook and through the Zoom.
Okay.
So at a minimum. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Please don't unmute yourself until I call your name. Francesca, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna come around there, okay?
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, Miss Davis.
Francesca. Again, everyone thing about the couple says they had to cover their mouths.
Right, Francesca, what we're asking all students.
Oh, sorry. You may go. You may continue.
Thank you, Francesca. Miss Davis?
I have a question. Why didn't the board require the students a week before to get COVID tested? And the second question I have is, I have a child with allergies. So every time he sneezes in class, is he going to get sent home?
I don't believe sneezing was one of, sneezing is not on the list.
Okay.
But what was the first question, Ms. Davis? Because I think I missed your first question.
I was just wondering why the Board of Education didn't require all the students to get COVID tests at least a week or two before school started.
I don't know the answer to that question, Ms. Davis, to be quite honest, but even if they did even if we did have all of the students tested, that's one test in that moment in time. And at some point, students can get sick along the way. So that might have been a good starting point, but exposure can happen at any time. But I don't know why.
You know what? Okay. Because I just feel that children, I don't know how the other parents feel, but after doing research, children, they have COVID and they don't have any symptoms. And I feel like they just little germ bags, just giving it to everybody. Everybody, not saying it like that, but I don't know. I just, I feel like they should have got tested. All the kids should have got tested before coming back to school.
Districts are in. Many districts have different policies, and I haven't researched it, but from what I know, I don't know any district that's requiring students to be tested.
No, only the colleges are. Yeah, not the school. No, none of the schools are. Okay, so that's all I wanted to know about the sneezing and stuff, because my son have allergies. Thank you.
Welcome. Rose. Rose, I'm going to unmute you, and then, well, actually, yes. Rose, if you can unmute and ask your question. Okay. Let me move to Ali Leroy. If you want to unmute and ask your question.
My question, Ms. Jethwa clarified it for the preschool regarding what the students are required to do before and after their in-person learning, if there's other assignments that they have to do, or on the in-person days is once they're dismissed, they're done for the day.
Ms. Jethwa is going to communicate that to all parents, because the teachers will give that specific information to all of their parents. So look out for a communication from Ms. Jethwa. So any of Ms. Jethwa or Ms. Springer's parents, look out for a communication from either teacher no later than Thursday with that information. And then because the teachers,
Go inside.
the teachers will be able to provide you that very specific information as it relates to their classroom. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Ms. Duncan.
So the Chromebooks are supposed to be going with them to school every day that they go into school, but we had our own personal Chromebook to start with. So how do I sign up to get a Chromebook so that he can use it in the school?
You can come tomorrow or Friday, anytime between 8:30 and 3:30, and he'll be issued one.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Bo, parent of Bo. You can unmute and ask
for taking my question. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. The question that I wanted to ask, you mentioned that parents have to, how can I say, confirm certain symptoms for your kids before you come to school. I don't believe I ever received any form to, I guess, ascertain the schedule. So I'm wondering, like, how do I go about double checking the schedule for my son and making sure that I have access to the parent portal, because I don't believe I do currently.
Okay, if preschool parents will not have access to Genesis Parent Portal, and so we had to create a specific form for preschool parents on Google. That form will reside on our school website. So both Ms. Springer and Ms. Jethwa will make sure that parents are aware of where to find that Google form, because preschool parents will not be able to do it on Genesis.
I'll communicate with Ms. Jethwa directly to get more information.
Well, yes, because I'm going to make sure that Ms. Jethwa and Ms. Springer knows where that Google form resides, so that you know where to find it every morning to complete it. And then both teachers will communicate to their parents their specific classroom schedules, so that our roomies and our Zoomies know exactly what any changes might be to their schedule.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Regine, if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Yes, thank you for all these informations. I have a few questions. First, I don't have any device actually I use my own device for my son is in pre-K. So I don't know if I should get one from the school, because you said we cannot use the one from home. So should we get one from the school for him in order to use in school? next week?
Miss Springer is unmuting and she's going to respond to that question.
Yes. No, you don't have to get one for him to use in the classroom. He won't need one for in the classroom.
Okay. I have I take 2 more questions or 3. My other question, I have 2 kids in the school, one in 3rd grade, and the pre-K. So the one in pre-K dismissed at 11:15 and the other one at 12:30. So I don't know what you can do, because you said there's no way you can keep the kid in the school, and there's no way I can go pick up Fabien and come back to pick up Megan. So what can I do in this case? Because they're gonna be both in the school, but not dismissed at the same time.
And Mom, if you can just send me a dojo message so that we can talk specifically about your situation, and then I will give you a response.
Okay, my other question, I hope is the last. What time I can drop the 3rd grader? Because you said at 8:15, but in the past I used to drop her at 7:30 because I drop her, before I go to work. So now what the specific time before 8:15 she can be in the school?
You're talking about the 3rd grader, correct?
Yes.
The 3rd grader, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. was going to start having the queue outside. Okay. Because they have to come to their respective door locations, and then we begin the screening.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Lakeisha Nesbitt, if you would like to unmute and ask your question.
Hi, I didn't get the schedule in the mail.
Hi, Mr. Nesbitt.
Hi.
Victoria.
And also, she never got a Chromebook. We always used our own laptop. So how are we supposed to go about that?
Come to the school tomorrow or Friday, anytime between 9 and 3:30, and she can be issued one. Okay. You as a parent, you or your wife can come and sign one out so that she can use it while in school, and it will connect to our Wi-Fi. In terms of, did you receive a letter in the mail from me?
No, I did not. I got her. I got a packet from the school, but it wasn't for that. It was for something else. So that's why I'm trying to figure out why I didn't get her school schedule.
Let me look into that because I can't come off of this Zoom and then look at my schedule of students. So if you could do
I'll check Class Dojo. You can send me the information there. That's fine.
Yeah. So do me a favor and send me a message on Dojo, tonight. So that way, because I respond to parents that way, it helps me to remember everything that I need to do.
Okay, I'll do that.
Send me the Dojo, then I'll respond.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Rose, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Do we have after-school programs?
After-school programs will continue to take place virtually, right? Because our after-school programs are from 3:30 to 4:30, and so students will already be home, and so yes, they will continue. Okay. I see there's an iPhone. I'm not sure of the name, but the person who's on iPhone, you can unmute.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is with the Chromebook. I had it for my son and I returned it. However, I'm concerned about, he won't take care of the Chromebook. Is it going to be left at school or he has to transport it back and forth? Because I will be responsible for the payment.
Who's your child, ma'am?
That's Ethan, kindergarten. Ethan Quinlan.
Okay. How are you?
I'm fine.
So if you can send me that question in a Dojo, and then I can respond.
Okay, thank you.
I see Rachel iPad. if you want to unmute. Rachel, iPad.
Okay, got it. I had to figure it out.
Hi, Ms. Archulus.
Ms. Archulus, hi there. I was just wondering, and of course, my grandchildren are not coming back to the building just yet. So the teachers are going to have two groups, you're saying? I just want to get the clarification. She's going to be teaching in the classroom at the same time teaching to the Zoomies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So she'll be able to focus both settings. Listen.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hope that works out. Y'all hear that?
And I heard that, Ms. Archulus. And that's
What?
that's why you're gonna give us grace in this first couple of days, right?
Oh yes. I give it a couple of weeks. We'll work together.
All right, I know, because you're an educator too, so you know we're gonna do everything we can, right?
We are.
All
We
right.
are. I just need that crush though to lean on the teacher, because I don't always know the technology of the whole thing. That's my downfall.
I know,
To
you
be
know,
able to help them with the technology.
they always
Pardon
say
me?
that teachers are superheroes, and we are definitely demonstrating that in this school year, as well as our
Yes.
parents. We can add you to the list too.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Mr. Murphy, you have your hand up?
Yeah, hi, everybody. Miss A, just wasn't sure how to respond to this one in the chat. In terms of if a student is okay to come back into the building, but then the parent decides that they would like them to go back to remote, what are the procedures for that?
Communicate to me that you want them to go on remote, and they will, but there won't be a back and forth. If a child is hybrid and then a parent decides they want to go back to remote, they will go back to remote for the remainder of the school year. That's not a problem. Alexandria's iPhone.
Hi, how are you?
All right, Ms. Estevez, how are you?
Good. So, two questions. If we're not in the list and we decided to put ourselves in the list, what will be the protocol?
Send me a Dojo message and I will add your son to the wait list. Because what's going to happen is that next week we're going to see how many of the kids that I believe are coming back actually come back. And if we have students that, you know, the parents decide not to come back, then I can start working off of the wait list and returning kids back to the building.
And then, as you know, Ethan does have allergies. So his allergies are from all this season. So medication wise, I do give him medication every day. Would that be an issue?
I have allergies too, and we know that this is allergy season, right? So, you know, take the Zyrtec, Claritin, whatever needs to be taken for those allergies. And because we want them to be comfortable in the building as well. Mm-hmm.
And the last question will be the Chrome. So we do have computers here in the house. So we never took one from the school. If we did decide when you guys go into the second list, right, to move forward with it, will we get a computer for it, or I will be sending you a Dojo message?
Dojo message.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Alicia Williams. Hi, you can unmute.
Hi, thank you guys very much. I have a question for you. So my daughter, newbie at the school, right? And I would like to know how many kids will be in the pre-K class and how many teacher or aide will be assisting them inside of the classroom.
Mrs. Williams, it is 10 kids. That's the max capacity. And it's me and Miss Ford, Miss Crystal. Those are the two that are.
And the preschool classrooms have been set up with 6 feet of distance as well. the 2 classrooms that I showed on the screen were just simply samples, right? But we removed whatever furniture was needed to be removed to ensure that the 6 feet of distance was met. And the district's reopening plan requires that no more than 10 students are in a classroom. And for both pre-K and kindergarten, it will be the teacher and the paraprofessional in the classroom.
Okay, so how would they actually be able to interact with each other, the students? Will they be interact? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. In terms of interaction, there's going to be some changes to how that can happen, right? So they're not going to be able to share materials. Some of their small group and large group activities, they're not going to be able to do as they have done in the past. So again, both Ms. Springer and Ms. Jethwa will explain to the parents in their respective classes how they have changed the activities to maintain the social distancing that's required. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is there any plan in the future that they will be, like going out on the playground to play, run around a little bit? I mean, is there anything
they're doing that. Those that are coming back into the building, they're going to have the gross motor time outside. And then also too, our preschool teachers, they have booked every Friday to have play dates at Heywood. So, the kids, for those parents who want to bring their kids, they can come in the playground. In fact, they were out there the other day and I got stuck in the fence. I couldn't go play with them because the fence was closed. But they, we have those play dates and, if parents want to bring them, because we understand that they need the social aspect as well, right? And so, and we want to make sure that our Zoomies do not feel neglected. They are going to be connected to the classroom. They're going to be engaged. And our teachers know that we have a task before us to make sure that happens, but we're going to do it, right? And that's why I shared that, save the date event, because that colorific event, that color event is in person. The poetry event is online. But we're trying to provide opportunities where we can bring the kids together safely, smaller groups with parents, so parents can help us to maintain all those safety requirements and get our kids to be social. I mean, the few times that our kids have come together, I mean, they light up. They're like, wow, I can actually see you, right? I can actually play with you. And they're doing that safely. We have the hand sanitizer. We ask them to keep their distance. They normally will come up and hug, but they understand because you have trained them that they can't have that kind of physical interaction. And so, any opportunity that we can give them to be social, we're going to do that and we're going to do it safely.
Okay, because I just know how important it was for my daughter the other day to be on the playground. She just could not stop express herself about meeting her teachers and her friends and the fun that she have, and knowing that she's the only one in our house at that age, it really meant a lot to her. So I just wanted to make sure that it was just, was going to be information, the same way, and it wouldn't be left out. Thank you.
Duncan, you can unmute.
Hi. So I have one more question about the daily form. Yeah, form. Is that form is for all students with even Zoomies, or is it just for the roomies that are in the class on the day that they go in?
Just the roomies.
I'm sorry?
Just the roomies.
Okay, for the day that they go in, or for, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay.
You're welcome. And I love how you picked up the vocabulary already. And so if anybody asks you where that word came from, just say it came from Heywood.
All right.
All right. Eileen, I see you have your hand up.
Mr. Alcantara, good evening. I was just wondering, I think you might already answer this question. How long would it be for the wait list for someone for my child to get in?
Well, we're gonna take the first week to see how many of our students return. The wait list will be guided by what Superintendent Fitzhugh tells us to do, because as building principals, we cannot make that decision on our own, right? We're one district. And so as soon as Dr. Fitzhugh gives us the word that we can begin to go to our wait list and invite other students back, then you know me, I'm on Dojo too much.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so when that happens, I'll let parents know.
Okay. And one other question. I don't know the school design or color because it's the first time at Heywood. So I was always asking what is the color of the uniform or what the style is like. I don't know.
All right. So for kindergarten, because as the preschool teacher said, preschool does not require uniforms, but kindergarten through grade 4, it is navy blue bottoms, skirt, pants, and white or light blue polo shirts.
Right.
For middle school, which is 5, 6, and 7, it is khaki bottoms and white top. Khaki bottoms and white top. And for gym, they should have on sneakers. Now, if you want to send your child with sneakers every day, I'm fine with that, right? For gym, it is sneakers. Hi, Francesca.
Oh, excuse me. Can I leave now?
Yes, you can, Francesca. See you in class.
Bye.
Bye. That's one of our stellar 4th graders there. So, Mom, does that answer the question for the uniform?
Yes, ma'am. Does she get a badge from the school to put on, say Heywood or whatever the case is?
No. In her class, she's gonna have a name tag on the desk. All the student desks will be identified, so that the child will know that is my desk every day that I come in here.
Alrighty, thank you.
And just to let all parents know that when staff leave the building at 3:30, then all rooms will be disinfected by the best custodial staff in the Orange Public School District. And then on Wednesdays, there's again a full cleaning because no one is in the building on Wednesdays, just like it is right now, except for security and the cafeteria staff for the grab and go. So, we are taking, like I said, all the precautions, all the guidelines, because we want to be back in school and we want to stay in school. Okay. So our staff are doing the screening forms every day. Our parents are going to do the student screening forms every day. If our staff are not feeling well, they're staying home. If our students are not feeling well, they're staying home. And we're going to rock out these last 9 to 10 weeks of school. Okay, with our roomies and our Zoomies. So do we have any other questions? Any other hands? Use that raise hand feature.
Miss A, I'm sorry. I think there is one question in the chat that I was not able to answer.
Okay.
It said PM kindergarten will eat lunch at home or at school.
That was an excellent question.
I think you said before they should eat lunch before they get to school. But I think maybe between 12:15 and 12:30. I don't know if they're gonna have snacks.
No, there's no snacks. Ken, that's an excellent question. Let me get back to you, the parent who asked the question. Let me just get some clarification, and I promise that both Ms. Griffith and Ms. Hill's class will have an answer for you on Dojo tomorrow. Okay? Thank you. Any other questions? Are there any discussions for next September, or are we using the next few weeks before decisions are made? I don't think that decision for September is really going to happen before the end of the school year. I think the summer is going to be the planning stage, and Dr. Fitzhugh, our superintendent, will provide that information as soon as possible. Now, the calendar is out there. The calendar is published for 2021, 2022. So we have that information. But in terms of what our return will look like for September, that is not yet available. Ms. Williams, Alicia Williams?
Okay, so I just got one last question because I got this form from the nurse. Okay, so my daughter have mad allergies, right? So I don't allow her to take the flu shot because she's also allergic to egg and she got real bad eczema. Now, I gave the doctor the form way ahead of time when I first, signed up Madison for school. And I still haven't gotten that form back because the doctor, she kept on saying, oh, I'm going to put it in the mailbox. I'm not coming out there because of certain, situation with her. How do I proceed with this?
Your child is in what grade again, please?
Pre-K.
Mrs. Williams, I can communicate with you on that personally because I got the information from Nurse DeFalco.
Oh, you got it.
With you on that. Okay, is that okay, Miss A? I did get an email from preschool nurse Maria DeFalco. She's the preschool nurse that we go with.
Her preschool requirements are different, Mom. And so Nurse DeFalco will be the one to answer that. And since Ms. Springer has that answer, the two of you will connect so that you get the information that you need. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. And speaking of preschool emergency forms, if I have any preschool parents remaining on the line that has not submitted the emergency contact form, your child will not be signed into school on the first day. The emergency contact form is the ticket into class on Monday. Okay, very important. Let's see. Now the doors are labeled, but you have to get close to the door to see the labeling. But just, I tried to make it make sense. At the bottom of the hill, the first door is A, then the next door is B, and at the top of the hill, it's C. Okay, so A, B, C, up the hill. I hope that helps. I don't see any other hands, but this is an active class. All right, let's see. Let me make sure no other hands are up. All questions answered. Recording has